То, что вы сейчас увидите, эпизоды борьбы неравнодушных людей за свои права.
In 2022, Russia's military invaded Ukraine. While many governments expressed their disapproval through words, sanctions on Russia, or through the armament of the Ukrainian military, one group of far-left activists, the Anarcho-Communist Combat Organization, decided to take matters into their own hands. We have exclusively managed to reach BOAK and get in direct contact with one of their members, who we will call Yuri for confidentiality purposes. We spoke to Yuri, an active member of BOAK, and asked him questions about the group's ideology, their objectives, their methods of operation, and their opinions on Vladimir Putin's Russian government. BOAK is a group of Russian anti-war activists who are currently fighting against the Russian and Belarusian states. On top of fighting Putin and his regime, this group advocates for the end of capitalism and state rule and instead aims to create a decentralized democratic system in its place.
We don't need government in our life with our friends, to communicating with our families and so on. And there is no one reason why we can find a way to communicate with other peoples in such a manner as well. And they steal our resources, they take our money, they take our lives, they take our freedom, and they are killing us as morally as and physically as well, if we are not acting as they like. And that's why we need to start fighting back for our lives, for our freedom, and we need to do it together, because together we are stronger than the one.
The ideology of BOAK is not new to Russia's political landscape. The country has a history of an anarchist political current dating back to the middle of the 19th century.
Actually, history of anti-government partisan groups even in modern Russia is much longer than 5 years. For example, we can tell about New Revolutionary Alternative, which acted in the end of the 90s and bombed main building of Federal Security Service in Moscow, protesting against a war in the Chechnya. And later, in the end of the 2008-2009, there was a black bloc and the net of its affinity groups who also done a lot of partisan actions against state, against police, and of course later our organization kicked in as a follower of these heroic initiatives, and yeah, we started our actions about 5 years ago. Our organization was created by the persons who had rather big experience in fighting the government before in different ways. And for example, we can tell about one of our co-founders, Dmitry Petrov, who died recently in fights for Bakhmut in Ukraine, fighting for the freedom of the Ukrainian people. We understand that the only way to achieve a free society, free just society, is to fight with the state with any methods we can. That's why, and to fight effectively, you need to be prepared. And that's why we started to preparing for the revolution, create an organization where searching for new members, gaining resources, and so on. Of course, we are anti-militarists and internationalists, and stand for organization of coexistence of people and nature. And we believe that the only way to achieve this free and just society is social revolution.
When the Russian invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022, they decided to increase their visibility and support for the anti-war movement by organizing attacks against elements critical to the war effort.
We are not fighting with society, we are fighting for the society, and we are fighting with the government who are taking resources and from society, who are killing people in other countries. And we believe that in this situation the Russian government is true terrorists, because who, if not them, are now killing people not only in the Ukraine but also in our country.
As the war rages on, the group continues to escalate its violence against the war effort in Belarus and Russia, with attacks reported from Vladivostok in the east to Rostov-on-Don in the west. BOAK's claimed attacks include the sabotage of a railway line in November 2022 and the burning of an FSB, the Russian Secret Police, office in April 2023, amongst many others. These actions demonstrate that there are Russians who do not support the war in Ukraine and are willing to take drastic action to demonstrate it. BOAK continues to spread its message using various social media platforms and pages, with Telegram being the most commonly used platform to spread videos of their attacks and methods of sabotage. To derail and delay trains vital to the Russian war effort, the activists claim to only have used tools available at any hardware store. Arson attacks are frequently carried out using Molotov cocktails or other easily homemade bombs.
Of course, if we are talking about people learning how to do explosives or Molotov cocktails, it was always because people like those things, to test something like that. If we're talking about organization which were studying this experience and spreading to others, we can mention again the Black Bloc, because they were not only acting but also teaching other people how to do actions. They tested recepts and posted videos of testing and other kind of instructions in the resources.
BOAK follows a horizontal command structure, with decisions being made democratically. BOAK plays a significant role in the rail war, damaging train tracks near Russian military bases. Other videos show them lighting recruitment offices and vehicles marked with Z on fire across the country. Worried that a victory for Russia in Ukraine would be a triumph for the reactionary elements in their home countries, BOAK is willing to work with the other, ideologically different groups to bring down the governments of Putin and Lukashenko. So, sort of building on this, how would you describe life in Russia under the rule of Putin and his government?
Would be very good described by the phrase, if the people change their freedom for the full stomach and the security, they in the end don't receive no security, no full stomach at all. When the Putin's regime started, it was right after the 90s, and it was his luck that high prices for the oil kicked in, and that's why the government there could took control on the people's life more and more, and tell them you don't need to think about anything, you don't need freedom, you will be secure and have a full stomach. You just need to watch TV and do what you said. And people did it, and for some time it worked, but with every year people lost more and more instruments to control the government, and government, while receiving those possibilities to do what they want, started to act against people as well. They destroyed medicine, destroyed high education. This government destroyed all what was good, or maybe at least not bad in Russia. They destroyed industry. It was stolen by the Putin's friends. Right now Russia is becoming a fascist state, which is gaining resources by oppressing its citizens and oppressing them and all the others as well.
The rise of BOAK and its militant anarcho-communist ideology has captured the attention of many in Russia and Belarus, as well as the wider world. Their use of direct action, sabotage and violence has set them apart from more mainstream anti-war groups and they continue to inspire others to take up the fight against Putin's regime. While their ultimate goals of abolishing capitalism and creating a decentralized democratic system may seem idealistic, their determination and willingness to take on the state apparatus are clear. What do you think is in store for the future of Russia?
Every empire should die, and we believe that the time for the Russian Empire to die will come as well. But also we believe, we know that in the hearts of Russian people and people of the other nationalities, other social groups who lives in the Russian Federation now, there always was a call for freedom. People always fought with the state, they lose, but they fought again and again, and that's why we believe and we know that on the broken parts of the Russian Empire, these people with their love for the freedom will build new free, just society, a new union of the people which will develop and build new bright future, and we want to be part of it.
As the conflict in Ukraine continues to escalate, it remains to be seen what role BOAK will play in the coming months and years. Will they be able to expand their reach and challenge the Kremlin's hold on power, or will they be crushed by the might of the state security forces? Whatever the outcome, BOAK and their anarcho-communist ideology represent a growing challenge to the status quo in Russia and Belarus, and one that may continue to shape the political landscape for years to come.
When, if not now, and who if not us?